Are you just a thinker? Do you just make plans? Do you meet about processes and applications and moving things from point A to point B, but never really see anything change? Do you do these things? We don't think so. We think you're more than that. We think you're a maker, someone who wants to build things in a smarter way, because that's what it will take to win. Whether you're making it yourself or building a team to get it done, whether you write complex code, a little code, or no code at all. Now, we're all makers. Now, you have what you need to make more things faster and better than ever before. We exist for those who want to be a difference maker, to deliver more value to the enterprise than ever before, so you can go make what counts most. Mendix. Go make it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man. Ladies and gentlemen, the man you've all been waiting for, the CEO of Mendix, Roos.
Morning. Welcome to Mendix World. It's great to be back. 20 years ago, I was a bartender in the Heineken bar on the second floor of Ahoy. True story. In fact, when I met my two co-founders and we set up our first office not far from here, I believe it was about the size of the stage I'm standing on right now. This is what that looked like. What had brought us together was our personal experience and our personal frustration with traditional software development. It seemed there was never enough time in the day to get anything done. There were never enough developers, and our customer requirements were just too fast, too rapidly changing to respond. So we got together and we asked ourselves, what if? What if there's a different way? What if there's a way we can abstract from the underlying code and bring business and IT together? Would it be possible to expand our application development team with people on the business side? And by doing that, bridge that business and IT gap. And that became the idea of Mendix. That's what Mendix is about. A way to bring business and IT together and create a better way to build business applications. There was just one problem. Nobody had ever heard of low-code. There was no competition. Nobody believed that what we were talking about was remotely possible. But that was then. Fast forward to today, if you Google low-code, you'll find over 2 billion results in half a second. So the world has changed. If you listen to the analysts, they say it's a multi-billion-dollar market. Gartner is tracking over 200 low-code vendors today that claim to have a position in the low-code market. And by 2022, 50% of all applications will be built using some form of low-code. So I'm extremely proud that not only did we pioneer this market, we also continue to lead the market in low-code. We're currently in 25 industries. We've built over 200,000 applications on our platform with our customers and our partners. More than 100 universities have adopted Mendix in their curriculum and teach the future generation of low-code developers. So I guess you could say low-code has grown up, and Mendix is leading the space. So what is next? I'd like to talk about what our customers are doing. I'll talk about where I see the future of low-code, and I'll talk about how being part of Siemens is a key part of our plan. But before I do that, let's talk about our customer, Nexus. And Nexus is a Dutch government organization. They're responsible for managing the electricity and gas grid in the country. And as you can imagine, their organization is under tremendous pressure as a result of the energy transition to more sustainable energy sources like solar and wind. And as a result, they're forced to rethink their business, their processes, their product offerings, their customer experience. And at the same time, the IT organization of Nexus has their own set of challenges. A legacy landscape, traditional waterfall processes, never enough resources, budget constraints, and a need to innovate has put tremendous pressure on IT and created a challenging relationship with the business. So they ask themselves, how do we innovate? How do we transform the very core of our IT organization, while at the same time we have to keep the lights on and we cannot increase our budget spend? So before I tell you how the team at Nexus responded to that challenge, let's zoom into this challenge a little bit more. Today, over 4,000 organizations use the Mendix platform to build applications. And we spend a lot of time with our customers to understand their challenges and really understand what they need. And it's very interesting to see that even though we have customers in 25 industries all over the world, we see a very similar pattern with all of them. And if you look at where they're using low-code and where CIOs are spending most of their time, it's really in 3 areas. They're building apps to support the launch of new products, new models, or go into new markets. They use apps to enhance their customer experience, to enhance their customer engagement, or they're using apps to drive out operational cost, by automating inefficient or manual processes. And often it's a combination of these 3 together. So software is impacting every aspect of the organization, and low-code is impacting every aspect of the organization. And I guess you could say the same thing for any organization out there. The cost and ubiquity of software and computing, and especially cloud, is enabling new competitors to enter the market. It's impacting how customers, what customers expect from companies. It's changing market expectations. And because of that, CIOs are increasingly in the driver's seat when it comes to the strategic direction of their companies. It's not just about IT anymore, it's about the very core of how you look at yourself. So depending on the industry you're in, ask yourself, are you an insurance company? Are you a shipping company? Or are you also a technology company, a software company? Which may sound like a weird question, but the answer will depend, will impact your product strategy. It will impact your talent strategy. It will impact who you choose to compete with in the marketplace. So, because of that, it's obviously critically important that you're agile. You're able to respond to new trends, and you're able to successfully adopt and apply new technologies. So how do you do that? What does that mean? Does that mean that all of a sudden we now all need to start building the next Facebook, or start behaving as the next Facebook? Yeah. For years, Zuckerberg had this mantra: move fast and break things. And I guess you could argue that it's worked quite well for him. Built a tremendous company. But he learned the hard way that the moment you start touching your valuable customers' data, or you start to impact mission-critical processes, you can just move fast and break things. Expectations are different, and they learn it the hard way. So ask yourself, so how do you do that? How do you go fast without breaking things? Imagine you're a consumer bank, and you're launching a new consumer mobile platform to your customers. You can't afford that to go wrong. What if you're a national postal service organization, and you're replatforming the very core of your supply chain? Right? You can't just experiment with that. Or what if you're an energy network, and you're responsible for delivering electricity to millions of households, hospitals, and city infrastructure? Yes, you need to be fast. You need to be faster than ever before. But you also need to provide high-quality solutions that scale, that are stable, and secure. So the question is, how do you do that? How do you scale innovation while at the same time addressing some of the hardest IT challenges at the very core of the enterprise? And to make things worse, the biggest challenge in all of this isn't even technology. It's people. It's having the right skills in-house. Unemployment rates in technology are at a historic low. So imagine you wake up and you're a law firm or a shipping company or you're a bank, and you find yourself competing with AWS or Google. How do you deal with that? And layer on top of that the expectation that the demand for apps will only increase in the next few years. It's not hard to see how making your developers go faster is not going to solve the gap. It's not going to close the gap. So what do we do? Let's go back to our customer in Nexus. They ask themselves, how do we innovate? How do we re-platform the core of our organization while we keep the lights on and not increase our budget? So they were smart, and they got together, and they came up with a different way. They launched an initiative which they called the Co-creation and Capability Program. And what that meant was they adopted Mendix, but they also launched this capability program where they ended up training over 500 people in their organization to know about agile, to know about co-creation, to know about technology, and working together with the IT organization. And of course, not everybody was a technologist, not everybody was a coder, so they set up these centralized teams, these expert teams, or app factories they call them, to support the business in their efforts to innovate. And they staffed these expert teams with internal resources and partner resources. Rom, here on the slide, is one of those resources. He's an architect at Time Series, one of our partners, also a Mendix MVP. But our other partners like Mendix Blue, Pronto, IT Advisors, FlowFabric were in there also to support this transformation. And the impact was incredible. Not only were they able to reduce the time to market by a factor of 12, they also launched over 100 apps in 3 years, which was a massive transformation for their organization. And importantly, they were able to restore confidence in the IT organization that was known for never delivering on time, on spec. So what if we can take this example? What if we can take the Nexus co-creation idea and scale it out to anybody in the organization with an idea? What if anybody that can build a spreadsheet could build a highly scalable, secure enterprise app on top of billions of business events? What if we could integrate complex systems without the need to worry about integration? Look, in the end, we all want the same thing. We all have ideas, we all want to have impact, we all want to participate in the creative process. And it shouldn't matter whether you're the CIO or you're a business engineer or a business analyst or an integration manager. Right? We shouldn't respect boundaries. Right? It's all about having the right mindset, the right attitude, and the enthusiasm to create something, to have value. So we see a future where everybody is a maker.
Today's makers get things done. They build things in a smarter way because that's what it will take to win. So whether you're making it yourself or building a team to get it done, whether you write complex code, a little code, or no code at all, now we're all makers.
With Mendix, you never know what you're going to be making next. It could be an IoT smart warehousing application or an insurance quotation app. Anything's possible.
It doesn't matter whether it's a CIO, business engineer, business analyst, an integration manager. It shouldn't respect any boundaries. It should be somebody with the ability and the enthusiasm to pick up and create something.
In the team of 85 that I'm responsible for, that Mendix team is the only team that has actually chosen to co-locate in one space. We physically broke down walls in the workspace so that they could work more collaboratively because they move so quickly.
We're looking to deliver a significant multi-million-pound increase in business through digitisation and new platforms.
Every week, it seems, a new need comes up, and it's like, hey, let's go to Mendix. Hey, let's build an app for that.
Make something and ask the question, where do we go from here?
Now, you have what you need to make more things faster and better than ever before, so you can go make what counts the most. Mendix. Go make it.
So we created this video to try to capture the essence of Mendix. Go make it. 3 simple words. And this isn't meant to be, just another marketing video. Go make it isn't just another slogan. This is our vision. This is our vision for the future of low-code, the future of Mendix. And this promise of going out and being able to make it, go make it, is driving everything we do. It's driving our product vision, our product roadmap. It's driving our talent strategy. It's driving how we think about our customer experience, our partner strategy. It's all about enabling makers to create stuff. Mendix is for makers. Makers make stuff. Makers make a difference. So, how are we going to do that? Over the course of the next 2 days, we'll talk a lot about this, and there are 60 sessions and many demos. But there are really 3 pillars that are important to remember. Make with more, meaning create more makers. Expand the developer universe to include everybody in an enterprise to participate in that creative process. Make it smart. We don't want to build yesterday's apps. We want to build tomorrow's applications. And make at scale. I'll touch on each of these. Start with make with more. If you look at the developer continuum, developer spectrum, we're really not just talking about one kind of developer. Of course, on the far right, we have our most technical developer, the full stack developer, the coder, if you will. And we have the business engineer in the middle, and the business analyst on the far right, on the far left, which usually sits on the business side and is more focused on solutions than on the technology. And of course, we created low-code to support these different types of developers to collaborate with low-code really aimed at that middle persona, the business engineer, to be effective. But of course, we don't want the teams to be limited by low-code, so which is why we've always enabled extensions with the custom code, so you're never limited in what you want to do. But if you think about this spectrum, there's actually much more to it. If you zoom out, you'll see there's actually another type of developer, which is maybe even the most important one on the left there, the citizen developer. And they're the most important one because they're most often. I think there are probably 10 times more citizen developers than there are of the rest of the developer community combined. Right? And I don't think you will ever find somebody with the title citizen developer on their business card, but we all know who they are. These are the people on the business side that get the job done. These are the problem solvers, the creative thinkers, the people that the Excel gurus, the go-to people when something needs to be fixed. And their weapon of choice is often Excel or something similar, but low-code is often not the place for them. Sometimes that is even too technical. And that is where no-code tools come in. You can have a one-size-fits-all approach to covering the entire maker universe. No-code is a rapidly emerging new category out there, and I will say a very exciting one. So that's why I'm very happy and excited to announce we are launching a new product today called Mendix Studio, which is a purpose-built, thank you, a purpose-built no-code IDE, especially for citizen developers. And it's everything you need. It runs in the cloud, no need to install anything. You can just take your spreadsheet, upload it, and within seconds you're good to go. There are starter templates, business templates for free that you can get, and obviously we've made sure that Mendix AI Assist is in there to help you get started and make recommendations on the next step so you don't have to be an expert in building applications. And this is not all. Because, of course, we've made sure that the Mendix Studio is deeply integrated into the rest of the Mendix platform. For one, the Mendix Studio Pro, which we've renamed. It used to be the Mendix Business Modeler, the desktop modeler, which is now the Studio Pro, to make it very clear who we're targeting and how we're positioning the Studio Pro and Studio on that spectrum. It was really important as you unleash makers in your organization to start building apps, that you don't create the next app jungle, that is governed, right? That is stable and secure, which is why the rest of the Mendix platform is there to help you. Yeah? Anybody can go make an app, but your IT organization, your security organization can make sure everything stays within the guardrails that you define as an organization. And this is truly unique. We're the only platform that has purpose-built tools for everyone on the spectrum, while at the same time providing the capability to IT to make sure everything is secure and stable and scalable. But there was one more thing that we felt we needed, because it's one thing to build an application, but at some point you need to deploy it somewhere. And for those of you that are already using Mendix, you will know that we've always had our sandbox edition in the cloud, which is great if you want to deploy an app quickly and you want to test it or try it or demo it, or you want to use it to learn the platform. But it always had this 10-user limitation. So it wasn't really fit and designed to run production apps. So that's why I'm especially excited that today we're releasing the 10-user constraint from our sandbox edition, and we're launching the Mendix Free edition. So every maker can now create and deploy as many apps in the Mendix Cloud, no user limit, for free. Which brings me to Siemens. I believe we surprised everybody when we announced our acquisition in August last year. And that's probably an understatement. But if you think about it, it actually makes a lot of sense, especially in the context of makers. And the reason is, Siemens is a company of makers. A 170-year-old company with an extremely rich and strong history of enabling all the makers in the world. You know, they're one of the largest industrial powerhouses in the world, and they power over 40% of all factories in the world with their tools and technology. And what's so exciting about this is that increasingly the physical world, the industrial world of Siemens, is converging with the software world, the cloud world, the digital world. Right? And more of these physical assets of Siemens, but also Siemens customers, are being connected to the cloud. So you can imagine how the engineering community that was historically in that world is now all of a sudden facing this need to go build apps on top of their assets, on top of their equipment. So I think this is our opportunity together with Siemens to bring the power of low code to the engineering community and see what we can do. Especially when it comes to bringing IT and OT together. Which brings me to my second pillar, make it smart. We've talked about smart apps for some time now. You know, we had this vision for the future application that kind of evolved from web apps to mobile apps to multi-channel apps, and then ultimately the smart app. And I will go as far as saying that the smart app isn't even an app anymore. It's an experience. You know, as technology becomes more ubiquitous and pervasive, you're no longer just going to the app to consume your data or do your work or consume the technology. It's just going to be there. And that's the smart experience that we want to enable. So smart apps are context aware. They know who you are. They respond to where you are at the moment you need it. And of course, they're intelligent. They're able to process all that data, especially when it comes from IoT systems or other data sources. And often, they're proactive. They come to you. I'll give you one fun example of one of our customers that built a smart app. Customer is Zurich Insurance, and they were thinking about new ways to market their life insurance products to the younger demographic, especially millennials. You can imagine millennials don't really wake up in the morning thinking about life insurance, but they live on their phones all day. So what Zurich did, they came up with a Mendix app that was a very simple, elegant experience. Basically allows a person to take a selfie, push a button, and within precisely 5 clicks, get a custom personalized insurance quote on their phone that they can bind to a contract. Huge success. They ran a big marketing campaign, and in no time they had over 70,000 selfies they were able to convert into quotes. And they actually qualified for a great entrepreneurial award as well. So it's a great example, but if you think about what's required to create such a simple, elegant, 5-click experience, there's a lot of technology that comes into play. We're not just talking about your simple web app with a database, some business logic, and some UI. Yeah? You need to know about cloud. You need to know about cognitive services. You need to know how to translate a selfie into meaningful business insights. You need to know about sensors. You need to know about time series databases. The more complex your smart experience is, and the simpler the experience you want it to be, the more complex it is to build. And a big part of what makes that hard is the different form factors, especially offline mobile. We've always supported different form factors, web, mobile, multi-channel, and even offline. But we've used smart technologies to wrap web technology and provide offline-like capabilities to our customers. And we have many successful examples out there in the App Store, but it was never exactly what you would expect from the best mobile offline apps. So that's why today we're announcing another very exciting new capability in Mendix, which is Mendix Native Mobile. And this is truly native. It feels like a native app, and that's because it is a native app. We're not mimicking anything. We're not mimicking gestures or animations in the web. You immediately feel the difference, which also makes Mendix the only platform, the only local platform that supports all form factors from one and the same model. You don't have to create a new app if you want to run it offline. Yeah? Our architecture is built to support all these different things from the same model. Native gestures, which comes with over 50 device connectors to your different devices, and it's an offline-first architecture. So we have an advanced synchronization algorithm that we now put in your hands. So you might be wondering, is this really going to work? Is this consumer ready? Is this secure? Well, let me answer that question by showing you a real example. This is Rabobank, and they're obviously a big consumer bank, and they created this app together with our partner for the Belgian market. It's going to be rolled out shortly. And as you can see, the speed, the elegance, the animations, the gestures, is exactly what you would expect from a killer app. No delays, all the local device controls at your fingertips, all without writing a single line of code. So I want to give a big shout out to Finapps, our partner, who was the partner, yes. Who did a phenomenal job, not only building the application, but also partnering with our R&D team to get this ready. Because we were in private beta mode. We still are. We'll talk about when we bring this to market shortly. Tomorrow in Johan's keynote. But as you can imagine, with private betas, there's always something, but they did a phenomenal job, and big kudos to them. And just a great testament that Mendix isn't just for departmental internal apps. You can truly build some of the most demanding use cases out there, which is banking combined with consumer experience. Which brings me to Siemens again. I talked about Siemens in the context of expanding our maker universe, about our opportunity in the industrial space. If you just look at the industries that Siemens is in, it's pretty inspiring, all the things you could do with smart technology. And obviously, industry is one of the most demanding environments when it comes to application technology. Right? You don't always have connection if you're on a ship or if you're in a factory floor. You're managing some of the most complex mission-critical processes if you're manufacturing something. So the requirements for platforms such as Mendix are significant. Now, what most people don't know is that Siemens isn't just an industrial powerhouse, they're also the #1 industrial software company on the planet. They're they're a $100 billion company, and within that, there's a $4 billion software business. And they're the #1 in their space. They're a top 10 global software company. They have over 1 million devices connected to the cloud already. And just within Siemens alone, close to 25,000 software engineers that are building solutions for their customers. And this is a big part of what got us so excited when we first started talking to Siemens, is the opportunity to enable Siemens, but also Siemens customers, to build smart solutions on the Mendix platform. And the same is true for the opportunity that our partners now have together with, in the Siemens ecosystem. Now, while it's true that we have this gigantic opportunity in the industry space, I want to be very clear that Mendix will continue to be industry agnostic. In fact, the big opportunity that I see for customers in markets that are not necessarily Siemens industry customers, like, for example, in banking or in insurance, is the fact that we can now deploy our technology in these industries, harden it for some of these use cases, take those learnings, take those capabilities, and transfer them to some of these other industries, and vice versa. Siemens understands that to be the #1 in a platform economy, you need to be horizontal. You need to be a general purpose. So that's our mission. That's what we're doing. We'll continue to run the company under our Mendix flag, and we'll continue to support all customers in all industries like we've always done before. And we'll continue to be open. We'll continue to be open, have an ecosystem strategy, have an open community strategy, and an open partner strategy.